Join us at the Women of Courage show every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. for information that will change your life. You can also visit us at our website, touchedbythelight.us, for more information. Thank you. If you do not like your life, then change it. Listen to us when we broadcast, and we can help you find a new way. Before we begin, we're going to take a few moments to collect ourselves and to relax before we engage into our discussion. What we need to do is to focus now on bringing positive energy into our lives and into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We have all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our lives will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we can do this is by changing our outlook, meeting every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism, and once you do this, you will see a change in yourself. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life. Family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons why your life is amazing. You will see the change. You will be changed. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful and think positive. Pretty soon, we will begin another year of our lives. We will be entering the year 2021. I just want to thank you for bringing me into your life and listening to my show all year. I appreciate your courage to spare your busy time to tune in to the show. That is great. That is courageous. May I send my greetings to you wherever you are, hoping and believing that the grace and glory of the Lord Jesus Christ is keeping you safe. In 2021, I plan to continue to encourage everyone as we share one another's problems. I know you may be facing devastating problems in your life right now. Perhaps it's family problems, perhaps it's financial, perhaps it's loneliness, perhaps it's abandonment by someone you were cherishing and valued. You look around and all you see is an ocean of distress and winds of paranoia. You don't have to worry as long as you have tuned into our broadcast. I can relate to your challenges. I know the pain that you could be having. As you shall listen through the broadcast, I will endeavor to walk you through the steps and activities you can follow to recollect yourself and to rise to become the wonderful person you are, the great man or woman you can be. You are an inspiring woman of courage. I once suffered loneliness, despair, homeliness, and loss of friendship. I overcame, so I know you can too. The subject of today's talk is power and belief. I want you to enter 2021 with power and belief so that you will radically change your life. We are going to enter 2021 with a winning attitude. We are going to spend 2 or 3 sessions on power and belief, peace, and hope. Before we start, I want you to take a silent moment of intense self-reflection. You can do that by taking in one powerful breath, closing your eyes, and calmly reflect on yourself. You remember, you have not been down your entire life. Maybe at one point your life was at the peak. You had everything good around you. And even if you've been down all your life, I want to reassure you that by the fact that you can still breathe, by the fact that you can move around, by the fact that you still have life, that alone is success. At least there is always one positive thing in a person's life. As you deeply think about yourself, identify the positive things you have. Just focus on them. Use them to develop more enthusiasm that can console your heart and give you a pure mind. Absorb yourself in the innermost peace and take away your fears. You have to believe in your ability to use your talents and strengths to succeed. As a man or woman of courage, you don't have to be pessimistic. Even when it's disheartening, remain positive, for a positive mind is the key to the beautiful unopened doors. Okay, we're going to continue our discussion of being a person who is developing belief and power in themselves. Associated with being a powerful and believing person is a person who is an opportunist. See, you have to be aware that some of your behavior has to be associated with talking and meeting and greeting and associating with people. And a lot of times you can actually hurt yourself by not being open to talking and greeting and meeting people. And you miss out on various opportunities. Not everyone pays full price for a car or a house or a pair of shoes. A lot of times they get reduced prices based on people that they know, that they met and took an opportunity to introduce themselves and become associates of these people. Think about it for a while. Think about all the people that you need in your life. Sometimes you need information from a real estate broker. Sometimes you'll need information from a guy who sells cars, somebody that sells insurance. You are not a island unto yourself. You need other people. So you have to take opportunity to meet these people and greet these people and establish a relationship. These are the fundamentals of life. I'm not saying that you meet and greet these people to abuse and use them, but you form associations that is good for both of you. Now, the sole purpose of this portion of my show is to talk to you about being an opportunist. I want you to listen to me carefully because earlier I spoke to you about power and belief. Well, a kissing cousin to power and belief is being an opportunist. An opportunist is a person who believes in the day. This is a person who believes good fortune is coming his way. He is a person that believes he is going to meet the right person, say the right thing, or do the right thing that will bring him an opportunity that will further him in his life, bring him fortune. An opportunity is not a sad sack. Okay? He's not one that's gloom and doom all the time. An opportunist is a person who's looking forward to the day. Before I get into the talk, the discussion, who is an opportunist? According to a dictionary, an opportunist is a person who adapts his actions and responses to take advantage of opportunities or circumstances. I will say it again. An opportunist is a person who adapts his action and responses to take advantage of opportunities or circumstances that present themselves to him. And please do not get upset with the pronouns that I use because I'm discussing this with respect to both males and females. A politician once said, an opportunist does not wait for a grand opportunity to come about. He simply transforms events to exploitable situations. An opportunist is a person who looks forward to life. He looks forward to what the day will bring. When he sees rain, he does not feel sad. He is a person who believes something good can happen to him on a rainy day, just as something good can happen to him on a sunny day. And opportunists are people who whistle. These are people who sing to themselves. They hum a tune as they drive to work or walk into an office building looking for a job because this person believes it's just as easy for the interviewer to say yes as it is for an interviewer to say no. So they do not walk into an interview with their stomach churning, thinking that the interviewer is going to say no. They tell themselves, I have a 50-50 chance just like everyone else to get this job or buy this house or get this car. Contrary to what many might believe or forced to believe, being an opportunist does not mean you are selfish. It means you are not confined to a box or a space and you already allow your creativity to flow. You pushed to where you are meant to be. It means you look ahead and you decide what opportunities are worth taking. When you change your thinking and perception toward a more opportunistic mindset, you can take advantage of a lot of opportunities in your everyday life. Opportunity itself is based on the way we view things, and that's the more reason why many people who are capable of discovering great opportunities that will turn their life around, they fail to do so. Why? Because they ignore these opportunities unknowingly. They're in a habit. These people are in a habit of rejecting things without thinking about it because they develop these habits based on someone else's tradition, based on what someone else has told them to do. You have to shake these traditions off. Every occasion, you do not have to be like your grandfather or your father or your uncle or your nephew. Be yourself. An opportunist does not walk around with preconceived ideas, categorizing people. In other words, he or she does not look at a person's handbag or shoes and decide whether or not a person is worthy to speak to. In other words, an opportunist is not a snob. Opportunists do not make assumptions about the worthiness of people that they meet. They do not make assumptions that just because a person is wearing Kmart clothes that they are poor and not worthy of attention. Because some people who wear Kmart clothes are millionaires. They live in a fine house and are able to afford the finest of foods. They are just people who believe in only spending their money prudently. So you see, one of the great characteristics of an opportunist is a person that does not make assumptions and they are a person who does not categorize people. They are people who believe that they should inquire as to whom a person is before they make a judgment. First of all, there are a lot of brilliant attorneys who walk around with some of the most plain clothing on as possible. But if you put these people into a courtroom, they are some of the greatest advocates. Most social scientists do not believe in dressing. They put the first thing on that they find when they get up in the morning. Some of them may walk to work and have brown and black shoes on at the same time or red and yellow socks. Why? Because they're paying more attention to what they have to do than attention to how they look or appear to others. You need to stop judging people based on the way that they look because you will never be able to take advantage of any opportunity that presents itself because you are shallow. Because you associate fineness with clothing, not fineness of the man mind based on behavior. Some of the greatest con artists in the world dress in fine clothing, but they're worthy of nothing. And you want one of those people that would be hoodwinked by some of those people who dress in fineries. So how can you become an opportunist? First of all, you have to be prepared to take swift action at all times. Sometimes we miss out on opportunities because we keep thinking there will be a better one lying around the corner. To become an opportunist, you have to be decisive. Don't spend too much time waiting, hoping, and praying for an ideal situation. Take action. Look at the people that you meet. Avail yourself of a conversation with them. You never know who you will meet on an elevator just by saying hello. Secondly, you need to open your heart and your mind and be aware of your environment because your ability to discover something new A new opportunity rests solely on the awareness of your environment and your surroundings. Having this awareness increases your chance of discovering new opportunities, and this will play a significant role in your processing the world. You have to be interested in people and things. You might be riding an elevator with a great inventor looking for investors, and you will not know it if you do not smile and strike up a conversation. You cannot be an opportunist if you are afraid of people, if you do not have the courage to walk up to someone at a party that you do not know and say hello. You can easily start a conversation with a person standing alone at a party. You can make a statement congratulating the host, asking the person if they know the host personally, and that you were glad that you were invited to the party. You have to be willing to be creative when talking with people. In conclusion, I want you to understand that you can be an opportunist without being unethical or immoral. Remember, an opportunist is a person that takes advantage of a good situation when it presents itself to him or her. A family may be moving out of town and they have to sell their home. You just happen to be in the right place at the right time to purchase the house or the car, etc. For you to be a good opportunist, you have to focus on your mindsets on elements of your life like your family, business, community, and personal development. Being an opportunist is the only way to succeed. According to an author, Craig, last name spelled Lunsbrough, we stand around waiting for the big opportunity while we bypass all the small opportunities that would have created that big opportunities that we seek. Be the opportunist who sees a win in every situation, no matter how small or insignificant these situations may appear. Start practicing today. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now for my break.
Today, I want to talk about declaration, making the announcement about who you will become. The thing about declaring or making a statement is once you say it, you begin to own it. It becomes yours. Today, I will no longer be a victim. Today, I will begin to make change. Today, I will start to take care of myself. Those are statements that you can own. Do not allow someone else's opinion have the final words on your heart. I want you to declare who you are. Declare who you will become. Today is the day for change. Today, I want to talk about self-control, the restraint exercised over one person's impulses, emotions, or desires. It is easy nowadays to lose control. We eat too much, drink too much. Everything is accessible to us. The hard part in life is finding that balance, that presence of mind to know what is good for you and to live with that discipline. I know through my own journey that when I am balanced, when I'm showing self-restraint, I start moving better. I start thinking better. I become more confident in who I am. And that's what I want you to think about. What can you do to become more balanced, to act on need and not on emotion? Remember, you are the women of courage. Fortitude can be defined as the strength of mind, that enables a person to encounter danger or to bear pain or adversity with courage and staying power. Think about that for a moment. Fortitude is the strength you have when you go through adversity. Everyone listening will go through pain, struggle, and disappointment in our lives. That is a fact. But what defines each of us is what we do after that pain, after that struggle and disappointment. Do we lay down and become a victim, or do we rise up and continue to push forward, continue to believe, continue to fight for ourselves? Remember, you are the women of courage. Resilient is defined as someone that can recover from or adjust easily to misfortune. Now I'm telling you, life is gonna throw a lot of things your way. Some will be good and some will be bad. It is easy to be happy and optimistic when life is great. It is easy to be happy when your money's up, when your family's close, when you have a job. But we all know life won't always be like this. So when those dark times start to happen, you need to realize this is just a season to a very long book about your life. You need to realize you are stronger than you think. You can overcome adversity through faith and understanding. You are strong and not alone.
Everything we need to achieve our inner power and inner peace is within us. But on our own, we struggle to tap into this. We have so much power deep within us, and it goes untapped for days, weeks, years, or most of our lives. This power can change your life. It can make you more confident, successful, and give your life a new meaning. What we need to learn more than anything is how to quiet our mind and how to truly connect with ourselves as we seek to tap into this energy that can make us the best possible version of ourselves. As a society, we are struggling with anxiety epidemics. You may feel awkward or uncomfortable during social situations. Maybe you slink down into your chair or you bite your fingernails. You avoid being a part of the conversation. You hide from your friends because you are uncomfortable. Maybe you pass up an opportunity at work because you don't want to step on anyone's toes or to speak up in a meeting out of fear or saying the wrong thing or being repudiated by a supervisor. Falling victim to your anxieties and fears weaken your standing with yourself. I'll say it again. Falling victim to your anxieties and fear weakens your standing with yourself. It prevents you from becoming the best version of yourself. Now listen to this. You must stand up for yourself to yourself. Again, you must stand up for yourself to yourself. You have to know that you are stronger than the urges you are feeling in that moment, that you have something to contribute, that you deserve happiness and success. You need to be able to communicate with yourself honestly and completely. You have to stand up to yourself for yourself. Your self-confidence has to be stronger than your self-doubt. Your self-confidence has to be stronger than your self-doubt. You got to this point in life. You know what you are capable of. It all depends on teaching yourself how to handle your anxiety and how to reestablish who you are in the face of a problem that is rapidly grabbing a hold of so many people. The first step in tapping into your inner power is quieting your mind so that you can properly conduct an internal dialogue. This is going to take some time to do well. Your mind is going so fast with all the ways things can go wrong, and you just needed to calm down enough to present to it the things that are going to go well. The right way, the successful way, the way you have been planning for, the way that you deserve on your road to happiness. People are primarily being defeated because of two things: negative internal dialogue and the discouraging words of negative people. I want you to picture yourself as a pitcher of water. You are sitting on the counter and you have ice in your pitcher, which means your water should be cool and soothing and delightful to drink. Now you're sitting on the counter and everyone that you meet takes a drink from your pitcher. After a while, what happens? There is no more water left in your pitcher. You are dried up. You are no longer attractive. People pass you by. Who wants or needs a pitcher with no water in it? Now, consider this. Supposing the people that you met take a drink from your pitcher, but then they put water back into your pitcher, or they add some more ice to your pitcher. You stay refreshed. When people add water to your pitcher or add ice to your pitcher, you are refreshed and that helps to sustain you. They add to your life force. But when you allow people to continue to take from you and add nothing to your life, then you die inside and you become less effective and finally you give up. You must improve your self esteem so you do not tolerate this type of abuse. You do not allow people to continuously take from you and never give you anything back. Poor self esteem and a poor self image comes from some form of abuse. Sometimes it is sexual abuse that is being ignored by your mother when she meets another boyfriend. She gives her new boyfriend the best piece of chicken, and you get the neck and back and chicken feet. She feeds him first and gives him the last of the Kool-Aid, and you get water. Your mother wakes in the morning smoking a joint, and you have no food for breakfast. She sends you to the dope house to buy marijuana for her boyfriend. Your mother and grandmother constantly tell you you are no good and you're going to be just like your father who's in prison. Your mother fails to realize it is her responsibility to form you into a well adjusted human being. You need to fix this situation. You need to seek professional counseling and work on developing your self esteem so you will no longer abuse yourself or allow others to abuse you. You must stop the constant badgering of yourself. You must stop telling yourself that you are stupid. No one will like you. No one will go out on a date with you. No one will hire you. You must stop verbally abusing yourself. You you must make it a priority to work on your self-esteem. I discussed internal dialogue on several of my shows. I think the latest show was show 29. I'm going to take a portion of that show and repeat it because I think it's very important for you to understand the effect of your internal dialogue. An internal dialogue or self-talk or the inner speech is a person's inner voice. It is a running verbal monologue that a person has with himself or herself while they are conscious. Therefore, an internal dialogue can be explained roughly as an inner conversation that people have with themselves. The discussion that we have with ourselves is usually tied to our sense of self. These monologues can be characterized as planning, problem solving, self reflection, self image, critical thinking, emotions, and sub vocalizations. We talk to ourselves every day, all day. When this dialogue becomes negative or critical, it contributes to a psychological disorder, including depression, anxiety, and a number of other mental disorders. Your internal dialogue or your interspeech is quite simply your thoughts. It is the little voice in your head that comments on your life, whether that is what is going on around you or what you are thinking consciously or subconsciously. That's the conversation that you have with yourself when you call yourself stupid or I shouldn't have done that. Oh boy, I wonder what people are thinking. Please note that your inner conversations are comments that you make for or against yourself. You become a critic for or against you. All of us have an internal dialogue, and it runs all the time as long as we are awake. Some of us, however, pay more attention to it than others, and we become skilled at manipulating our internal dialogue. It is the way in which we apply logic to what is happening around us, although the logic may sometimes be skewed or driven by your emotions or your experience. But what you think and the language you use can affect your mood, your self confidence, and your self esteem, and it can cause you to fail. Your internal dialogue can affect your confidence and your self esteem. Your internal dialogue can therefore be both helpful and unhelpful. Internal dialogue becomes a problem when it is unhelpful. If you are inclined to be anxious, your internal dialogue can reinforce your anxiety. Some commentators suggest that anxiety can also upset your internal dialogue by creating a vicious cycle. Just as smiling makes you feel happy, being exposed to negative language and unhappy thoughts can affect your mood. This includes your internal dialogue if you tend toward beating yourself up. In other words, you spend the entire day calling yourself stupid or silly. Or you spend your entire day telling yourself that you're silly, people don't like you, nobody will want you, you can't ever get married, you'll never hold down a good job. Being able to have a positive internal dialogue and look on the bright side can help you feel more positive and it will improve your mood. You must learn to manage your internal dialogue. It's important for both your mental well being and your success in life. You need to become more aware of your internal dialogue. This is important when you need to know what you are saying to yourself. You need to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. If you begin to speak negatively to yourself, how do you feel? Your thoughts can make you sick and apprehensive. So, if you become sick during the day, where you develop a headache or an upset stomach, you need to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. The bathroom is an excellent place to recover. Sit on the toilet, take a deep breath, and think about what you're saying to yourself. The bathroom is a perfect retreat. You need to sit there and talk to yourself or recite certain biblical verses that help you, where you bring yourself back under control. Some of us are very aware of our internal dialogue. It's a constant presence in the brain or even an ongoing conversation. Others are much less so and may find it harder to tune in. One way to become aware of your internal dialogue is to try doing some meditation because this helps you to concentrate on your thoughts. On Sunday, when I was worried and upset, I would go to church and fall asleep during the service holding my child. That was the best sleep. That hour helped bring me peace. When I left the church, I was revived. I felt safe. I was able to get rid of the negative internal dialogue. This was a time when I was living in my house and I could not afford to purchase gas to heat my home. I heated a portion of my home by turning on the oven. I had an electric stove. We slept in the room right off from the kitchen. I stopped worrying about not being able to heat the entire house. I just concentrated on getting up in the morning and going to work and paying my house note. I defeated my negative internal dialogue. I concentrated on what I could do, not on what I couldn't do. To find rest from your daily internal dialogue means you need to learn how to meditate during the day. You need some quiet time during the day. You need some verses that you can recite to yourself during the day. You need to have a list of positive affirmations that you say to yourself during the day. And you also need to have a list of things that you're grateful for. Remembering these affirmations and reciting what you are grateful for will help you. Now, there is a technique that you can use to make yourself consciously aware of your internal dialogue, and that is to think, I wonder what my next thought will be. Whether this interrupts your internal dialogue or just distracts your brain, it helps to give some space for the brain to become aware of what is happening. What you are chiefly trying to become aware of is the type of thoughts you tend toward having, where your internal dialogue goes as if you let it wander. This can give you a good idea of what is bothering you at any given time, whether you tend to think positively or negatively. Your dominant time orientation, which is past, present, or future, and your motivation, whether you tend to think about wanting more good things or fewer bad things, or whether you spend time trying to understand how things relate to one another. When you begin to have negative dialogue, you need to change your internal dialogue. Once you become more aware of what you are thinking and saying to yourself and the kinds of patterns that your thoughts tend to make, you can then do something about changing these thoughts. There are important ways in which you can help yourself. You need to go from negative internal thinking to positive internal thinking. It's easy to fall into the trap of beating yourself up internally and criticizing yourself all the time. Looking for ways to improve is good, but blaming yourself because you have failed to achieve it is not good. It is important to try to avoid negative thinking in your internal dialogue. One way to do this is to consciously change what you are thinking. If you hear yourself thinking something negative, focus immediately on something positive instead. For example, instead of thinking about what you did wrong, think about what you will do differently the next time, or what you have learned, or even what you did well. In your mind, picture dropping the negative thought down a well. Picture the negative thought, then picture it falling down a well that you never see it again. Your negative internal dialogue often tends to focus on the past, what might have been, and the future, what might be. Focusing on the present, therefore, both quietens your internal dialogue a little, and it also helps you concentrate on and appreciate what is happening now. This is the basis of mindfulness. Now, here is one for the battle of the mind. One way to change the direction of your thoughts, and particularly to prevent yourself from wanting more or less to think about what you have to be grateful for. This helps you to be more positive because you are looking for the good in life. This will help quieten your negative thinking. Tell yourself what you are grateful for. I am grateful that my car is still running. I am grateful that I have lights in my home. I am grateful that I have a house. I'm grateful that I have children. I'm grateful that I have a husband. I'm grateful that my boss is not stupid. See, there's a list of things that you can make to why you are grateful. The more things that you say to yourself that you have to be grateful in your life, the better you will feel. We all have moments where our internal dialogue seems to go off on the rails all by itself and can spiral into a negative tirade. When you feel this is happening to you, it can be helpful to actually tell yourself to stop, as this pulls you up short and reminds you that this is unhelpful. Some people find that a firm but gentle mental note and asserting to yourself, stop it, will help you pull the reins in on your thoughts. You need to experiment with this when negative thoughts begin to appear in your mind. This technique is not easy. Controlling your internal dialogue takes time and practice, like any other mental exercise or practice. It takes time to learn how to listen to yourself and how to identify negative thoughts as soon as they begin. First, you will find that it's difficult to control negative internal thoughts. But the more you practice, the easier it will get. Although there will be times when you'll struggle, but you will get better and better at controlling your negative thoughts. You have to fight these negative thoughts with your accomplishments and with what you are grateful for. It is important that you do not beat yourself up if you are not successful all the time in defeating your negative thoughts. Stop looking for excuses to beat yourself up. Get up to experience and move on. The next time it will be easier. What really matters is how we think and our ability to fight back. One of the hardest negative thoughts to fight against are those thoughts that were told to us by our parents and our school teachers, especially those thoughts when they told us that we wouldn't amount to anything. You fight this thought by telling yourself, I can, I will achieve, and I will work hard to make a good life for myself and family. Understand this. This is a battle that you must win. I want you to understand you are being defeated by the conversations that you are having with yourself. You must stop putting yourself down. The other thing that's helping to defeat you is that you are around negative talking, negative acting, and negative speaking people. You must do two things. Stop the bad thoughts, and you must get rid of those negative friends. You will not succeed if you stay around these people because they can lead you to defeat. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now for my break. Here's an essay I would like for you to hear. It is entitled Finding the Light. We would like for you to imagine that you are standing in darkness, but there is a circle of light shining all around you. As you walk, the circle of light moves with you. Now imagine you are walking toward another woman standing in darkness. She is also surrounded by a circle of light. Now if you continue to walk toward her, your light and her light will overlap. Now imagine that the two of you begin walking toward a third woman who is standing in darkness, but also surrounded by a circle of light. As the two of you approach the third woman, your lights will begin to overlap. Now there are three of you standing together in the light, surrounded by darkness, and you begin walking toward a fourth woman. What do you think is going to happen? The fourth woman's light will overlap the lights surrounding the three of you. Something else is going to happen. The illumination surrounding the four of you will be greater than the illumination surrounding any one woman, increasing your visual perception, allowing you to peer into the darkness with greater accuracy. We believe every woman living in this country has a light surrounding her that can help solve the problems of domestic violence and sexual violence. We believe women must come together with their individual lights out of the darkness to illuminate all the dark shadows and foes hiding this awful crime. If the women in this country and the world begin speaking with one voice to their fathers, to their husbands, to their sons, to their brothers, to their uncles, to their nephews, to their cousins, and to their grandfathers, sooner or later the men in this country and the world will hear us, and they will understand that they must join us in stopping violence against all women. Our voices must become a crescendo, and we must work together. Galatians 6:1. Bear one another's burden and rid ourselves of guilt and sin. Some years ago, I read the book entitled Evil Under the Sun. The book was written by Agatha Christie and acted by her most famous detective, Hercule Poirot. Evil Under the Sun was published in England by Agatha Christie June 1941, which means Miss Christie wrote Evil Under the Sun during the Battle of Britain. Think of her tenacity. Her country was at war, yet she sat down and wrote a novel to entertain people. There's a passage in Deuteronomy 30:19 that describes that. Today I am giving you a choice. I am now giving you a choice between life and death, between God's blessing and God's curse. And I call heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. This is a congratulations and a shout out to the Women of Courage show. Starting in July, we will be publishing articles in the Native Sun. The editors of both papers agreed to allow us to publish articles in their papers. In keeping with our mission, the articles will detail information regarding four linking subjects: reading, self esteem, sexual abuse, and sex trafficking. To support our mission to bring you information on these subjects, we will appreciate it if you would advertise in these papers. These newspapers support us, we should support them. Give us a shout out at murderedvoices@gmail.com if you read, enjoy, and find our articles helpful. We thank you for listening and supporting our show. Our show could not have a greater audience. Don't forget to email us for dates, times, and locations for our Saturday meetings. God bless. After our broadcast, you should go to YouTube and watch our video for a second and third time. This will reinforce the information that we are discussing. When you watch our videos on YouTube, it would be helpful to us if you would subscribe to the channel Touched by the Light Publishing. This way, you will be reminded when we publish another video. And if our videos are helpful to you, tell a friend or a coworker. Thank you so much. I am going to end this broadcast by having you listen to the conviction phase of two murder trials where people committed murder. 3 of the people were sentenced to life in prison without parole. They shall never have a life in the normal sense of the word. Their actions doomed them to a life behind bars. 3 of these people are yet to be tried. Yet it is almost certain they're going to go to prison because they committed robbery and murder. This is what happens when you do not put in the effort to develop yourself, and when you are in bad company and believe in the word easy. While you listen to the clips, ask yourself, what were these people thinking? Could they not have sought a better path? Could they not have believed in themselves and spent time developing themselves to live a fruitful and productive life? And lastly, ask yourself, why did these people not seek out better friends and associates? Why did they not run at the first mention of murder and robbery? We are judged by the company that we keep. This is why when you are in bad company, people of purpose will pass you by and never say a word to you. If you want to succeed in life, you must take an active role in steering yourself in a healthy direction, associating with people who have respect for themselves and who are willing to work for what they want and shy away from evil. These convictions are a lesson for everyone. When you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. We all must make choices in our lives. Choose wisely. Choose life, not violence and destruction.
Tia Skinner and 2 other teens will never see freedom again.
The judge sent them to prison with no chance for parole. They faced their sentence in Port Huron today for a brutal attack in the town of Yale. Skinner, Jonathan Kurtz in the glasses, and James Preston conspired to brutally stab Tia's parents in November of last year. Her father, Paul, was murdered. Her mother, Mara, severely wounded. Here's what the judge said to Tia.
For the premeditated, deliberate murder of your father, you are hereby committed to the Michigan Department of Corrections to be imprisoned for the remainder of your life without any opportunity for parole.
Her 2 accomplices who carried out the attacks got the same punishment: life for wounding Tia's mother and life without parole for murder. Tia offered an apology, saying she loves her family.
Most importantly, I never wanted my parents dead. Death is so final. I wanted my parents to be able to live their lives. I fought with my parents as most teenagers would. I said something to a guy. He took what I said literally and carried out the act. I wish I could go back to before I got involved with this guy. I wish I would have listened to what my parents said about him. Most importantly, I wish I could have my family back. Unfortunately, none of those wishes will ever come true, but I know that my family is closer and stronger since all of this.
Tia's family displayed pictures of happier times, showing how Paul Skinner was a loving father, and her mother delivered a message to the killers.
Tia, you completely puzzled me. I thought I knew you. I thought we shared the same feelings, values, loves, and life. But I guess I never really knew you at all. And that's heartbreaking. I, along with my family and friends, will forever bear a heart-crushing loss. But because Paul was who he was, we will be okay. We will continue to love life, share joy, and look forward to the day when we'll be together again. Tia,
Other family members also shared their heartbreak over the loss. Family members spoke to reporters after the sentencing, and we'll hear more from them tonight on Action News beginning at 5 p.m.
Now new at 5, police say we're all safer following the arrest of 3 teens accused in a series of robberies and a murder all within a day and a half. Channel 2 Action News was in court as the suspects went before a judge today. Channel 2 Gwinnett County Bureau Chief Tony Thomas live in Suwanee on this. And Tony, one teen couldn't believe the charges against her this afternoon.
Justin, a man says as he walked on this sidewalk between hotels on Celebration Drive, a teenage girl walked up to him, asked him if he had a phone charger. When he said no, he says another teen came up, stuck a gun in his face, and robbed him of everything he had on him. Police now believe those 2 teens and a third had actually killed a man in a robbery just 5 hours earlier. That girl seemed very surprised in court when her charges were read.
You have 3 warrants for armed robbery and 1 warrant for felony murder.
And apparently shocked, Fernanda Torres threw glares at her 2 co-defendants, Nicholas Evans and Khalil Miller, before the magnitude of her situation seemed to settle in.
Those are the charges that are pending right now.
Miller seemed surprised too by a second armed robbery charge. Evans had taken it all in by the time his charges were read. All three are accused in the murder of William Tunchez near a trail off North Cliff Drive last week, in the middle of what police believe was a 30-hour crime spree.
We do believe it was a set-up robbery.
William Jr. left us many beautiful memories.
The arrest is good news for Tunchez's parents and his church family. They all recently gathered to celebrate his life on the very stage where he played piano for his Gwinnett County congregation.
Sometimes young people are in the wrong place at the wrong time and with the wrong people.
Investigators say they're not sure how Tunchez and the three teens made their connection. Tunchez had no connection, I'm told, to the neighborhood where he was shot and killed. But jail records show suspect Nicholas Evans lived just down the street.
And all three were identified as being at the scene.
And in court documents I went through today, police accuse Evans of being the actual trigger man in that murder. And they say Torres, the female, would be used to lure the other men in. Live in Gwinnett County, Tony Thomas, Channel 2 Action News.
Dear male listeners, our show may be called Women of Courage, but our name should not stop you from listening to our show. You have as much to learn and to consider as women. Why? Because many of you are fathers, sons, and brothers, and you need to understand those forces and situations that affect the female members of your family. So we do implore you to listen to our show with an ear for understanding. Thank you. Join us at the Women of Courage show every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. for information that will change your life. You can also visit us at our website, touchedbythelight.us, for more information. Thank you.